This is going to be our stained glass bubbles resin tutorial in our crystal edge round mold. I did this pour before in number 60. It was called Colorful Bubbles, and it was my little crosshatch design. I just changed things up, changed the blue for the purple and vice versa, and poured it again in this new mold of ours. Right there, I've got Liquitex acrylic ink in Prussian blue, 6 drops and 1.18 ounces of Art Pro resin, which is a medium viscosity resin. My second color is Liquitex acrylic ink in Prism violet. That's 1.01 ounces with 4 drops. I have 1.52 ounces of clear for the bottom, and then Let's Resin Ocean White Pigment Paste, 2 drops and 1.35 ounces of resin, and Liquitex Quinacridone Magenta, 2 drops and 1.6 ounces of resin for the push. I also have a little bit of crushed glass and iridescent glass beads for the center. I wait until about 32.2 degrees Celsius before pouring because that's always worked out best for me. This is a pretty simple pour. You just start off by putting the clear, the 1.52 ounces of clear for the bottom. That starts off your piece. And like I said, this is the exact same pour that I did in our video number 60 called Colorful Bubbles. I start off with some kind of design. This was originally based on the geometric pour by Sunfire Designs until I could not follow any sort of geometric pattern. So I just start drawing cross-hatched lines. And I get a lot of blobs there. I was thinking my pours were looking different because of the molds, but I think it's because of my erratic pouring patterns. So this is supposed to be somewhat of a geometric thing or straight lines, but I can never make it look that way. I was really starting to think the winter and these past few spring months, it's been so cold here in Florida that I've had a lot of failures with my pours. So I wanted to do this one again to see if it would turn out, and it did. So here's my second color, the violet, the Prism violet. Again, I start off with some kind of star pattern and then just go to lines. I just basically am trying to get color in all the areas, so there's not open areas of one color over another. And one of these days, I did try this in the cold months using piping bags, and it did not work out at all. But I think I'm going to try piping bags again the next time to see if I can get some kind of semblance of normal lines going on here. And once that's done, you move on to the white. This is a pretty simple pour, and it does not leave the big open centers of dull color, which is why I really like this pour. And originally, this pour called for mica, which I quit using. That's where I came up with this crosshatch design thing, because mica always just tended to close up my pores, although mica works in some of them. And here, again, you see the little blobs that are getting heavy in areas. I either have to find a better pouring cup or again, try this in a piping bag so I can get more even lines. It is kind of crazy how the random lines have such a beautiful result at the end. So it's basically clear on the bottom, 2 colors of lines, lines of white, and there's the 1.6 ounce push with only 2 drops of Quinacridone Magenta in it. And then there's a little bit of space for me to drop my glitter in. And of course, there's always a little piece that goes off on its own there to the side. I tried to rescue it, but I didn't want to ruin the design. And then it's time for a bit of time lapse to see it close up. After I try and rescue that glitter, of course. I always keep my fingers crossed that I'll get a good turnout. And now it's the next day and time to demold. Fingers crossed. Ooh, I do like the way that turned out. It does look like our colorful bubbles pour. Let us know what you think about this beauty in the comments below.